Hey, Investor Business Daily asked this very important question. Is Nvidia the next Tesla? Because if it is, you need to own some. In today's video, I'm going to show you where I'm going to be buying. Let's see where that is. Investor Business Daily today asked a very important question. It asked the question, is Nvidia the new Tesla? Now, I know the stock that Anil picked for today, and hopefully he can answer that question for us. Is NVDA the new Tesla? And interesting, and so I want to welcome everybody to today's session. We're going to be running really quickly through some great stocks and ETFs. As you know, we changed our format last week. We changed our format last week so that we can do more stocks and ETFs that are potentially setting up. And I want to welcome everybody to today's session. If you're joining us over on the YouTube channel, welcome over there. Just drop your name or just say, hey, well, you've already done that. Hey, hi, Fawn, how are you doing? So the question this morning, Powell speaks, the Dow dives. Elon Musk issues a Cybertruck warning. So is that going to whack the Tesla? Or is Tesla going to weather the storm? It's we shall see. And so let's take a look really quick at the indexes and had a little bit of a pullback that we're experiencing, that almost everybody's experiencing the pullback in August. So here's where we were last week, and here we are this week. We're basically about the same numbers as we were last, just almost right on the nose. As you can see, even though the indexes themselves are down a little bit more than what they were. So Anil, let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at the indexes, and then we'll come back and try to answer those questions about the comparison between Nvidia and Tesla. So on the spiders, I am loving what I'm seeing with regarding the setup that's happening with the spiders, with almost every index. Big, the big headline has been, inflationary issues that the Fed is concerned with is going to drive and kill the market. They're going to raise interest rates again, which I don't think that, that isn't a very positive thing for the market. At the same time, though, I'm struck that we need to basically almost disregard what we hear and pay attention to what we see. The charts are what tell us what's going on. I heard a very good speaker speaking this past week, and he was talking about how we traders want to know the reason why the market's moving the way the market's moving. And 95% of the time, the market is moving just simply because it's the regular seasonal ebb and flow of the market. We've spoken in the past to talk about August, September are typically weak months in the market, with September being the weakest month seasonality-wise of any of the months in the market. So we shouldn't be surprised when the market is doing a pullback, and our action should be planning for what we're going to do when the market comes out of that. So on this spiders, let's take a real quick look at what I'm seeing here. I talked about this for the Autopilot Premium members last week. I basically said, if we take off, because this was last Friday, I said, if we take and go straight up, we're probably going to run into resistance at either the downtrend line or the 20-day moving average. Well, we hit the 20-day moving day average yesterday. It went just slightly above it, and then is selling off very nicely with a bearish engulfing yesterday, and then continuing to drop further. Now, what this can turn out to be is what I've coined is what I call the double dip pattern. And we see it on a lot of entities where it will rally attempt, run into resistance, and then in the process will come back to retest the lows or sometimes drop slightly below them. But the clue or the telltale sign that that is just a pullback or a double dip is that the momentum indicators remain positive, showing a positive divergence of you, if you will. And so at this point, that's what I'm waiting for on the spiders and the S&P. Price action moved up, reverse back down. On the weekly chart, what do we have? Well, the weekly chart, we have a bullish harami at a level of support. And I like this level of support because I've got one high here where it did a breakout, another high down here where it did a breakout. One of the interesting things, Anil, that I see is if I throw a Fibonacci extension on this from that high to this low for that major move, look how close the Fibonacci magic fib box I talk about all the time comes to those levels of support. One, there's my 38% retracement there, or 618. There's my 50%, and there are the lines that indicate where those past highs are. So those make some really strong support areas. And so a normal pullback back into the 50% or maybe a little bit lower would be absolutely natural and normal. Anil, did you know that Charles Dow, and this is reflected in Edwards and McGee's book on the technical analysis of stock trends. They cite Charles Dow as seeing or observing price action moves. And what he observed was you would have a strong move up or a strong move down, and then prices would, in this particular case on an up mode, they would sell off with profit taking down into 1/3 to 2/3 of the move. And isn't it interesting that Dow, even though he wasn't aware of Fibonacci, was describing exactly what happens with a Fibonacci. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that is really neat.
Let's jump over here to the Qs. Similar type situation with the Qs. What's happening is we pushed on up, went slightly above the 20-day moving average, and then have reversed back down, bearish engulfing on the daily, excuse me. However, a very interesting bullish harami on the weekly. It's close to a past level of support and also close to a Fibonacci magic fib box, and the uptrend line is still in effect. So it would be very interesting if next week we get a pullback all the way down to this uptrend line. Watch what's happening if that happens down here on the momentum line. If the momentum line pulls back a little bit but stays above this low, that could be an indication that that will be the double dip retest before prices take back off. Now, since it is September, we may, going into September, we actually may get a test back into this area here, and I'll just be watching that. So that's kind of my posture right now on the indexes, Neil, is I'm not in a hurry to jump in, but I think we're setting up for what could potentially be a very strong move to the upside towards the end of the year. What's your thoughts on that? What's your triple screen telling you?
Triple screen currently is telling me everything has a sell signal right now.
Okay, agree.
On S&P or Nasdaq, Dow, Russell, and most of them have even gone below the 50-day line.
Right.
So that is a problem.
Okay.
They're going to reverse. They need to break through.
Yes, they do. And
yeah.
So okay, excellent. I am really paying attention. I'm going to be posting a video and talking about this double dip feature as it becomes more evident that we're seeing those kind of things. The double dip feature that our pattern, that what I like about it is it's kind of a confirmation type pattern. And if you wait for it and be patient to wait for that double dip, it provides you I believe, a higher probability of success with the trade. And so definitely something to be watching and looking for. So secret trade tip for this week is one, wait for the momentum shifts. And especially if you wait for the momentum shift, and when I say wait for the momentum shift, that is basically the crossing of the, I use TSI with a 883 is the numbers I use on my TSI. And If I wait for the cross back up to the upside for a bullish trade, it improves my probabilities of success. Just be aware of that. If I don't wait, and it looks like it's going to happen, if I haven't had the cross to the upside within 1 to 4 days or 5 days at max, it's telling me that, this was not a good, strong signal. I need to be basically cutting my losses and keeping myself out of trouble. So so how do you define success? After the shift, is whether the shift goes up, and then price actions start to rebound and also move up. And then number 2 is when in doubt about a particular signal, wait for the double dip pattern. Wait for the double dip pattern. I love what Mark Douglas has to say with regarding the simplicity of trading. The more complicated your methodology, the more room there is for error. So, Anil, you ready to look at some stocks?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I like both the stocks that you picked. One is a net, and that's one, Arista. Okay, tell us what's going on here, because I'm seeing a strong stock, but a stock that might be ready for some pullback. How are you going to buy it, and how are you going to trade it?
A net I own a net, and I'm thinking about adding it to it. And if I look at the daily chart here, it had a strong pullback and looks like it's finding some support.
Okay, cool.
So
Yep.
I'll probably take a small position and buy more if it goes above or more than halfway through what it was yesterday.
Okay, yeah, I like that. And even if you take the low of this swing low here, you're still within 5% of that. So yeah, I like that. And it's got some very nice upside. Now this was a big sell-off yesterday, but it looks like it's it looks like it may be reversing back up to the upside. And so, I should have done your other one, but we'll come back to your other one. And then one of my picks for this week, and if you are joining us for the first time over on the YouTube channel or here on live, I'm going to be starting to cover a lot more of the leveraged ETFs and showing opportunities in those. And so if that's something you are interested in with the leveraged ETFs, I think you're going to really enjoy that. Let's take a look at SOXO. I like the semis. And what is it doing for me? I'm getting Arista is a semiconductor company, right? Or chip company?
Not 100% sure.
Okay. It's kind of interesting that I'm showing kind of a similar type pattern here. So here's on SOXO. And this is a perfect example of what I call the double dip. Is basically I had a rally attempt that failed. Now this is normal. We expect some kind of a pullback. What's happening? Where's it stopping at? Well, it's stopping square dab, kind of at the past low. Look to your left. Well, we see a area where we broke out of before. So it's finding support at an old support area. Now on SOXL, what I'd be looking at doing, and also as it's doing its pullback, note what's going on down here with the momentum indicators, the TSI, and the market forecast. I've got a 2-line cluster on the market forecast telling me that, hey, I should be ready within a 1 to 4 trading days for a move back up. I do not have a reversal signal on SOXL. However, I'm at a level of support, so I'm going to be looking to potentially do a trade on this, probably about somewhere between 1955 and say 1916, somewhere in that ballpark, with the expectation that we're going to move on back up. If by chance I get into this trade, fails to recover or move back above the 50-day moving average, then I'd be looking to pull the plug on it to get the heck out of Dodge. So that's what I've got on SOXL. What do you have your Triple screen on SOXL? SOXL?
Yes, SOXL looks good on the weekly screen as well as the.
Okay.
If, of course, it has pulled back, but looks like I had a sell signal on it a few days ago.
Okay. And so that's coming off?
And that's coming. Looks like it's reversing. It's still there. Sell
Okay.
signal is still there.
And so cool. Okay. So let's yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's finding support. So
yeah, I'm liking it. I mean, and this is a high probability, low risk area to be looking for an entry right on the uptrend line, because if it fails at the uptrend line and drops below that, that's okay. That's just one of those things. Then I would look for it to go back down here and retest off the 50 and be ready to go. Now, we've traded SOXL earlier in the year and did really quite well with it, and actually had an order on it this week, and it was a wonky order. It jumped us in. We took a really quick 10% profit on it, and then it fell back down and took out on the remaining shares, took out our the stop loss that we had in place, the trailing stop. So now, Anil, answer the question. And I'm just, I'm giving you a hard time, but so
yeah, that's the fun part.
okay. I love this stock. I really do. Okay. And this is your second pick.
Yes.
Are you buying it here, or given that the momentum is shifting back down to the downside, looking to be able to pick it up at a lower price?
It's a tough question, but I think I will probably buy some more here. I had it and I had sold it with some profit, but I need to get back on it. And after listening to Tanner and Lee Tanner and his philosophy is
right.
It kind of says you got to be in a stock that's really has such a strong fundamentals and such a strong buzz right now. Somehow you have to be in it, and if you're wrong, take your stop loss and you're out. I
agree with that wholeheartedly. And yeah, so yeah, I really like, like I said, I like this stock, and I like it. I like it better. Okay, like closer to the 50-day moving average. But that's just I'm a pullback trader, so that's what I'm looking. But yeah, because I'm looking to be able to get into this also. The article in IBD this from yesterday is really a good one, because it talks about NVDA from the aspect and the question, and it has some serious question about it, like, is it overvalued? Is it overhyped? And all that kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, and on these big gaining stocks like you show right here, they do get overvalued and they get overhyped, but they keep climbing. Similar to my choice for the day, and it's not Tesla, but it's what I think is the next best thing to Tesla, which is TSLL. Now, what this is and I know Pan over on the YouTube channel asked about Tesla, and you can take and apply this from Tesla. I like this. It is basically, we're close to a potential breakout. Where would I buy TSLL? Well, I like TSL somewhere between $13.50 and $13.85. If I drop to that, that's good. If, on the other hand, I break out above the trend line, then that trend line becomes my new level of support. That would become my new trigger. If you like to do covered calls, TSLL is an excellent opportunity to do covered calls. And if you're not familiar with this, is the 1.5 time ETF for Tesla. And again, it is doing, like a lot of the other ones, it may do a double dip type pattern, pulling back into towards the 50-day moving average. And if that happens, my momentum will probably be a positive divergence type momentum. And I would love to be able to get onto that at that particular point. Now, you can take Tesla and I don't, well, let me run over Tesla really quick just to give you a number on Tesla. I like Tesla at, okay, you've got 229 right there. You've also got the midsection of that candle right there, about 225 to 226. So I'm figuring 226-ish would be an area where you could get in, or worst case, bouncing off of the uptrend line. So TSLL is my pick.
Yeah, I'm looking at the triple screen. Of course, it has come down. So what's currently active is the sell signal.
Okay.
MACD is really turning around.
Okay.
And I would wait till RSI comes above 50.
Okay. And so
then I'll get the signal.
Okay, cool. And then so yeah, so I'm, like I said, I'm looking for that pullback into the 20-day moving average, or even the 30, or even well, the 50-day is up here on this one, just right about right there, about 1390 to the midsection of that big green candle right there. That's what we're looking for. So, Anil, I think that's 4 great stocks and two great stocks, 2 great ETFs that folks can take and add to their watch list and paper trade them going into next week if they so desire. Okay. Hey, trade your way to freedom, retire sooner with more money and less fear. I just want to announce that I just read the final draft of my new book that's coming out, which will be out here shortly, and you can pre-order that at that, pre-order it at that website. I will put that link down in the description on both the email that we send out when we send out for the this video. And if you pre-order, it also provides you exclusive entry into a master class. It's going to be over 2 days in November for how to trade the autopilot trading system. So Anil, that basically is all I have for today. That's it for today. Thank you so much. When did you say that you're going to post the recording to your Delaware meeting?
Yes, yeah. Jeannie is working on it, and I think we should be able to do it pretty soon.
Okay, excellent. And if I get the link to that, I can share that with all the BAM members and all the autopilot trading members. Okay.
It'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Aloha. God bless everybody. Have a great rest of your week or rest of your Friday, and look forward to a great weekend. See ya. Subscribing to the channel. Hey, share the link with you on your social media platform, be that Facebook or whatever. That way more people hear about what we're doing at Autopilot Trading. I will thank you personally if you do that. Just let me know. You say, hey, Dennis, I shared the link. So in the comments, write, I shared the link.